How is it going, everybody? Welcome back to Tour Life. Today is Tuesday, December 10th, and we've got some scoops, or potentially some scoops. I'm not entirely sure if they're accurate or not, but we're going to jump into that here in a little bit and talk about, did Ken Climo's deal get leaked? Did that actually happen? Also, we're starting to see our first set of players dropping from the tour, saying that you will no longer see them playing disc golf on the Disc Golf Pro Tour anymore. What are they going to be doing? Who else is going to be joining them? We'll talk about that as well. Isaac Robinson dropping some Easter eggs. I like it. We'll go into that. What does it mean? Is he just trolling? And my disc golf game is currently in shambles. Yuli, how's it going, brother?
It's good. We got some scoops tonight.
We got some scoops that we're definitely going to talk about because, you got people on this side saying one thing.
Scoops, man.
You got people on this side saying something else. So we're gonna dissect and see. You might know more than me, so obviously you might be able to not say some stuff, but I'll give you my take on everything. But how did your week go?
Week went awesome. I mean, came back here. I'm in Rock Hill. I was in Arizona, came back here, ran a little charity event on Saturday. Went really well. Had probably 35 people show up, and
Solid.
Coldest day of the winter. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was awful, but it was fun. So I did that and then watched some football on Sunday and didn't do much yesterday. Been filming a little bit here and there, and then picked my wife and my daughter up from the airport a couple hours ago and jumping on here. But today, I did go to my final doctor's appointment
and
got the x-rays, got the MRI. Perfectly healed.
Nice.
Yeah, it was surprising to me because there's certain things that I do that kind of tweak it, and I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. And the doctor said, perfectly normal. You haven't used it in 5 months. So
what's your timeline looking like?
They said I could throw as soon as I left.
Oh,
and
wow.
she said, hey, you're not going to hurt it, so you're good to go. She said you're going to be sore. And she subscribed me some crap, sort of anti-inflammatory.
Pharmaceuticals, people. They got to get their money.
Which I will not use. But, she said I'm good to go, which was great news. So perfectly healed and ready. I went out yesterday. I went to my physical therapist, and I knew it was like the day before the doctor's appointment. And I was like, I'm going to throw a couple shots right-handed because they said I could throw shorter shots. And so before I got bad news, I'm like, I'm going to get it in since they told me I could before they get the actual x-rays and everything. But everything's good, man. So
love that. That's awesome. Yeah, Very cool. Always good when you get good news from the docs. Kelsey is gonzo. She just left this morning. I dropped her off at the airport. She's back out in Vegas for a couple weeks. I will be joining her. I think I fly in Monday, fly out Tuesday for Monday Night Football. It's disgusting, Yuli. It's the Raiders versus the Falcons. We're the last place team in the NFL. We're just a disgusting organization right now. But I think she's the point of one of her dances again, so she'll be the front. So I'll still be out there, obviously, for that. And then we have coming up, we actually just did our big giveaway. So with if you guys follow us on Dark Horse Sports Cards, we just did our big giveaway. We're flying one of the people that jump in our breaks a lot. We're flying them out to Vegas. We're having them play disc golf with us in the morning. And then we're going to a meet and greet with Kelsey and the Raiderettes. And then they're coming to the football game with us. So that was kind of our big grand prize at the end of the year, was kind of like a full day out in Vegas with us. So that'll be very exciting. That'll be really cool. I played in my first tournament since D-Glow.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to think, when was D-Glow? Was that June, July, August? What month was D-Glow?
August.
Is it August? So August, September, October, November. So yeah, about 4 months.
I think it was September. It was on my birthday, so it had to have been September 7th. But it was
Okay.
like, yeah.
So about 3 or 4 months ago was the last time I played in a tournament. So I was like, when I signed up for this tournament, it was a couple weeks ago, and I kind of forgot how far away this place was. It's actually it's an hour and a half drive from my house, so it's not actually like per se a local tournament by any means.
Yeah.
Also, when I signed up, it was right when I was starting to kind of slowly work my way back into practicing and playing more. And I was thinking, hey, 2 weeks from now, I should be in a decent spot. Well, the weather here has been pretty terrible. Some other stuff has come up, so I haven't really been able to practice all that much in the last 2 weeks. So I was really kind of going in pretty much raw. And I was thinking in my head, hey, you'll be able to, throw it around. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. No, Yuli, I was not fine at all. First off, couple like key highlights from the tournament. It was cold, and
key highlights cold.
And I gotta tell you, I say this all the time. I know I'm gonna get people coming after me. It's completely fine. When it's too hot for you to play, I won't say anything. You can say whatever you want to me about it being too cold. I will never attack someone for saying that the temperature outside is not pleasant for them to play disc golf. I don't like playing disc golf in the cold, Yuli.
Yeah.
I think the Pro Tour, for the love of God, do everything you possibly can to keep us away from cold weather. Obviously, it can't be perfect, but I'll throw that out there. So first off, it was chilly. I woke up at 6. I left my house, I think, at like 6 o'clock in the morning and headed out there. I didn't get home until 7:30 at night. So I was gone for 13 and a half hours. Now, I showed up, and I think what ended up happening.
Did you go by yourself?
Yes.
Oh, that's tough.
I think what ended up happening was they ended up having like a lot of people sign up for this tournament. And so they had 18 plus 3 holes. So there's 21 holes. There was multiple 5-somes. I think a lot of groups had 5-somes. My group had a 5-some. The group behind us had a 5-some. We were the last group. The group in front of us was a 5-some. There was a lot of 5-somes on the course. 21 holes, all different skill levels, right? The first round, I think, took 3 hours and 45 minutes on a par 3 course. And again, it's like I don't really know what you can do, but I was kind of questioning. I was like, I don't know if this format though is like ideal to get, if the goal is to try to get people to play more tournaments, I don't know if this format is doing it. I mean, we were throwing and waiting almost every. I mean,
you had 5-some, so I guess it's working.
Yeah, I guess, but it's like, I don't know. That was just kind of my thought. I mean, there was people on my card saying the same thing. Like the pace of play was terrible. When you walk up to the tee pad and you have to wait 3 to 5 minutes almost on every hole, it really gets to the point of where you're just like, holy smokes, what are we doing out there? On a course that probably should take 2 hours to play, right? So let's talk more about my game though. The issue that I'm having right now, Yuli, is I think scoring wise, I'm the same scoring ability as I was my first year playing disc golf. So go back to like the end of 2020. Mm-hmm. I think me right now versus Brodie at the end of 2020 would probably be equal. Now, obviously my ceiling right now is way higher than Brodie in 2020 as far as like 2 months of Brodie in 2020 versus 2 months of me here. The ceiling's a lot higher. But the issue that I'm having right now is because I really haven't put in enough time of practice in the last like year and a half, probably. I don't know if I'd go full year and a half, maybe a year and a little bit. So what's happening is I'm getting out there and I'm thinking I have a shot. Like, oh, I have this shot. No, I don't have the shot. I don't have the shot. So That's tournament play is out. I'm out on tournament play. I will not be playing any more tournaments until the beginning of the season.
Any good shots out there?
Yeah,
though?
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like it's the same thing as Brodie in 2020. Like Brodie in 2020 would throw some great shots, make some decent putt. I mean, I didn't make a putt outside of 25 feet, which was great. But I could throw some decent shots. I did throw some decent shots. But I also threw some shots where I was just like, what the heck was that? So my game is in complete shambles right now. I mean, obviously it wasn't good last year. I was playing terrible at pretty much almost every event last year up until Worlds. Worlds I was playing decent. So I don't think tournament play, for those wondering, is in my future because all I could think about while I was out there, Yuli, was I'm playing 7.5 hours worth of disc golf and I'm getting very little practice for being out there for 7.5 hours.
Yeah.
That's all I could think about was like, man, I could have used this 7.5 hours a lot more effectively. So that's just for me. I'm not going to be playing any more tournaments until the Pro Tour starts up. And I'm just going to be effectively using my time, if that makes sense.
Shoot, I can't wait to play a tournament. I'm probably going to sign up this weekend. No, I'm just kidding.
Let me know how it goes, because I am actually kind of curious how people feel, because you'll hear it on this tomorrow's off-season podcast. Hunter kind of alluded to or gave me a little bit of information about how like the culture around disc golf tournaments were, and it was very much because we had an hour and 45-minute lunch break in between rounds, which I was thinking like, okay, I need like 30 minutes. I don't need an hour and 45. But they had like a barbecue cookout. They were making hot dogs. And so what Hunter was telling me right now is like there's kind of like a divide between me, who wants to like show up, play the tournament very quickly and leave, and then this other group of people that are like, oh, I'm my whole Saturday is disc golf tournament. Like I can't wait for like CTP.
Yeah, it's like a Sunday football thing. Like I can't wait to watch the game, tailgate, do the thing, play bags with my buddies.
Correct. You're locked in for all day, and so there's like a weird and maybe that's just what all amateur events should be, right? Because I mean, technically this was, I don't know, I was playing in pro. That's where it's kind of weird. So maybe it's one of those things too where if disc golf gets bigger, there's 2 weekends, right? Or there's a Saturday where it's the AMs playing, and then the Sundays the pros are playing. If you want to do this style, I don't know. It seemed like
you're just explaining like 10 years ago to me. That was every tournament, no matter where you went.
It was split, or you're saying
no? You just played with everybody.
Yeah,
like you amateur, pro together, and you played. Dude, there was tournaments where a lot of times in Arizona, they would go a full card, a foursome, and you had a recreational player on your card. Mm-hmm. You had a intermediate player on your card. You had an advanced player, and then you were the only pro. Yeah. And they were doing that to try to speed it up. So I don't think it worked, but
yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious.
We went through a little sesh, I guess, a little learning curve there.
Yeah, you guys leave comments. If you play, I'm sure a lot of you guys play a lot more amateur events than me and Yuli. So leave comments. What's your ideal tournament?
I don't care. When I'm playing a tournament,
not you. I'm talking about because there were people that were saying like this is taking forever.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering like
complaining. I mean, shoot, I played 6 C tiers or 7 C tiers last year, and I go into it knowing it's gonna kind of suck. But
that's the thing is, should it not suck? Shouldn't tournaments be the fun part?
I mean, not necessarily.
Why not? I feel like in every other sport I've played,
fun, but that's the point. Like the part of it that's fun is trying to win the tournament. That's fun. The other part that you have to deal with all those things in order to win the tournament.
What I'm saying is like I'm thinking of like other sports, and I don't really have that same. I don't have that. What you're saying is makes a lot of sense, right? The competitive side is the part that everyone wants. We want to compete, but you're saying like, oh, well, it just comes with all this other stuff that sucks. And I'm trying to think like, I don't remember that in other sports. I don't remember signing up for a tennis tournament when I was younger or later, or like even in high school.
That definitely sucks. You play your match and then you got to wait. Well, it depends on what kind of tournament you play. Yeah, you play your match. You got to wait. Like if it's a full day's tournament, sometimes how many matches are you playing?
I'm trying to remember, like 3 maybe. 3
yeah, there's
matches?
a lot of waiting around and stuff. You don't just get done with one match and you're straight into the next one. Like there's waiting, and like that part does suck.
I don't know. Maybe it's just this is new, and so I'm thinking of it as it's sucking, and I'm not remembering all the sucky things in the other sports. But I don't know.
There's
I
a lot
feel
of sucky things out there when you're competing.
Maybe, I don't know.
Like billiards, for example. Billiards took forever. I'd go play a tournament. You know how many you got to play? Like 20 to get sometimes 20 people in a day.
Oh, I think people are kind of confused. So what I'm saying, guys, is like
forever.
What I'm saying is the if you got, I mean, obviously we're playing FISM, so that's going to take longer. But if you're playing in a foursome at this course that we played at, the round shouldn't take more than 2 hours and 15 minutes, right? And then lunch break, I don't think you need an hour and 45 minutes. I think at most you need 45 minutes.
I agree with that.
So,
yeah, that's crazy.
So if you do 215, you're at 4 hours and 30 minutes. Then you're at 5 hours and 15 minutes. So 5 hours and 15 minutes is basically you show up, you play your round, you get lunch, you play your second round, you're out in 5 hours and 15 minutes. The event took closer to like 9 hours. So that's what I'm trying to say. Some people are like, Brodie, you can leave whenever you want. My point is just like I'm curious if more people would play in tournaments and sign up for tournaments, and there'd be more, because really, I'm surprised there's not a lot of tournaments. I'm in Dallas. I when I was looking for tournaments, I thought I remembered in like 2020 and 2021 there were so many options in Dallas to like play. Like there would be weekends where you'd have like 3 or 4 different tournaments throughout the Dallas Metroplex that you could play in. And now I'm looking, and it's like the reason why I signed up for this tournament is because it's like it was the only one in like a month and a half or something. So it's not like there's a crazy influx of tournaments going on. And my question, I'm curious to you guys listening, like, would there be more tournaments happening and more people playing if they were more efficient and people got in and played and got out, instead of being like, I have to be gone for 9 hours?
I mean, a lot of that happens a lot in Charlotte, to where there's a lot of one-day events or one-round events. They come in, they play whenever they want, and then they leave, and there's a bunch of those, and they're pretty successful.
Yeah.
That might be right up your alley, dude. Yeah. You just sign up for whatever tee time you want.
Yeah, those little flex starts.
Yeah, you play. Yeah. You rip through.
Flex starts can be really slow though sometimes too. Yeah, I think my biggest issue is just like the speed of disc golf is not really where it needs to be. Like it should be a fast sport, and it's like a very slow sport. So I don't know. That was my little rant. But shout out to Freddie. Have you ever played with Freddie?
Yeah, Mesa.
Yeah, he was there and ended up winning. Got to play with him a little bit. I think he's just literally, he's nonstop touring. Like nonstop.
Yeah, he plays a tournament every weekend.
I think he's like Emerson Keith back in the day. So hopefully see him more on tour. He's got a really, really solid game, and when his putter is on, it is something fun to watch. So
yeah, he's really good.
Congrats to him. All right.
Hey, well,
go
you know what? I wanted to tell you something. Ran the little charity tournament.
Yes.
Made sure it wasn't PDGA, so I could play lefty in it.
Why? Oh, because you didn't want to affect your rating. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, this definitely, if I cared about ratings, this definitely is going to affect my rating. So.
Made $20. Took tie for third place. How you doing?
Hey, there you go. Today's episode is sponsored by Manscaped, the global leader in men's lifestyle and grooming. Every man knows the unbeatable feeling of a fresh barber shop shave. Now, what if I told you that you no longer have to wait weeks or even months between appointments to experience it? Introducing Manscaped's newest innovation, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver, the game-changing tool that brings the luxury of a professional shave right into your home. Whether you're after the daily silky smooth finish or prefer to maintain a rugged 5 o'clock shadow, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver is your go-to for precision and style every time. Head over to manscaped.com and join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using the code TORLIFE for 20% off plus free shipping. So what makes the Chairman Pro stand out? Well, it's all about versatility and precision. It comes with 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads. You have the skin-safe 4-blade foil that for that close, smooth shave when you're looking to go completely clean. And if a clean shave isn't your style, that's okay. Just switch to the skin-safe stubble trimmer. Silas, I need my skin-safe stubble trimmer. Silas, still haven't gotten it yet. To keep your stubble. Can you give me a Christmas gift? My gosh. To keep your stubble looking sharp and polished. And here's something that's going to make your grooming routine even easier. The Chairman Pro. It's waterproof. Yep, you can use it right in the shower. And with up to 75 minutes of runtime on a single charge, you can take your time getting the perfect shave. Get the Chairman Pro today and experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code TORLIFE at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code TORLIFE at manscaped.com. Silas, I had a little meeting today with Hunter about Christmas bonuses. So
snap.
This stubble trimmer is
Hey, I'll get that for you right away, sir.
All right.
Hey, do I get a bonus?
Oh yeah, you can give you a bonus. You want a bonus?
I'll take a trimmer.
Okay. Yeah, that's all me and hey, Silas, all me and Yuli want for our bonuses is a Manscaped skin safe stubble trimmer, okay?
All right. I'll get that for you.
Thank you. All right, Yuli, let's talk about it.
Let's get it.
Last week, we talked about King Climo, the announcement with Innova. Innova saying he's no longer going to be attached to us, basically. They really didn't even have that big of a relationship. It wasn't really like Innova was doing all that much with him. And it might also been, and again, we've heard kind of from his side of things where he says he wants to be more involved. And, you know, knowing kind of what we know from King Climo, he's not the most tech savvy guy. Like, he's not on social media. He's not making YouTube videos. So he really does kind of need someone to step in. Someone that we kind of watch a lot, Barstool, John Gruden, who I love, big John Gruden guy. He just actually signed with Barstool. And so Barstool, same thing. John Gruden, big name in the NFL, big name in football, doesn't really know all the ins and outs on social media. Barstool, one of the biggest media companies when it comes to sports and social media, they're basically stepping in because they just hired him and they're like doing all this stuff for him.
Yeah.
And it's being very successful. I think that's what King Climo needs. He needs someone that's willing to kind of
come host with us on Tour Life. Is that what you're saying?
Hey, if he wants to do that, he's always welcome. That is for sure. But he needs someone, right? It's not disc golf right now. You look at a lot of people do their own thing. A lot of people, we run this podcast, people do their own YouTube videos, people do clinics. There is sometimes where you see manufacturers link up and do like events and stuff with their sponsored pros. But a lot of time, Yuli, it's just merchandise. It's just this. It's just jerseys or apparel, right?
Yeah.
You agree with that? Okay, you agree with all that. Yeah. So we heard that. We started speculating where could Ken go? Where would that make sense, right? And we all know Ken's not playing. Unless something crazy happens, I don't foresee him playing. Last he told us was, I can maybe play a couple holes, and then the next day I can't do anything, right? So the idea of him like joining someone to like actually be on the pro tour, I think that's a big stretch. I don't think that's happening. So this is simply just going to be some sort of marketing, one of the biggest names in disc golf. Now, obviously, you got to maybe try to get some stuff out there for the newer players that maybe don't know who King Climo is. But we had him on the podcast. It was one of our most watched podcasts. It was one of the podcasts that people say, I love that. That was awesome. So to think, because there's been like some pushback. I've seen some people, and we'll get into the details here in a second, but I have seen some people, Yuli, that are like, why the heck would you sign King Climo now? do you want to talk about what, being a team captain, what you would look at King Climo as on the manufacturer side sponsoring and why that would benefit you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I went into it a little bit last week, but I think it's kind of like a no-brainer. A name like that's kind of been in the shadows for so long that people still know about. I mean, here's what I think. A manufacturer signs this guy, brings back a brand that has been dormant and just sitting on the shelves for so long. Nobody's talking about. You bring back that brand. The first thing is, I think it'll make a splash because he's like a ghost, he's like this legend. So all the new people are going to be like, oh, I'm so interested in this. I want to know what this guy's all about. And if you look at disc golf right now, there's a lot of people from that era that still play.
Yeah.
He makes something new. Those guys are going to get that. They're going to buy that product. I know that for a fact. They're not going to be like, nah, don't want anything to do with that. But there's also maybe a little pushback from people who are like dedicated to Innova because of him for a long time, and they might not want to snag it. I think it'll be the opposite. I think they'll go, okay, I want to see what this is all about. And that product will be very, very successful, in my opinion. And that's from the, me putting the captain hat on. That's why I say it's a no-brainer. It's too big of a name that is stuck around for so long. Listen, you have other players, and I won't mention names, who have sort of that kind of pull. Nobody to that extent, of course, disappeared. Nobody talks about them. Nobody whispers these legends across. He's brought up a lot.
That happens in a lot of sports.
It does.
If you're not the number one guy.
But he's the number one guy,
correct,
right?
Correct. If he was number 3 or number 4, it would just kind of slip away.
Right. And, you can kind of, the brand deal that he made with Innova was the most successful deal that anybody made up into that point. And it lasted a long time after he even stopped playing. To where everybody was like, nope, that's AVR is a King Climo disc. Rock's a King Climo disc. You know what I mean? That's just what it was. Plenty of new players. I've heard that this is not just one story. It's a bunch of stories that I heard of people saying his name wrong. Yeah, I have a Climo.
Oh, putter. I've heard that too. Yeah.
Haven't you?
Yeah, I've heard some people say that.
That just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? And that's because his brand lasted way longer than when he played.
Mm-hmm.
There's power there, I don't know. I think another thing is like, because the brand was so strong for so long, kind of like a tiny little thing you could say, like Jordan's shoes. It's not in the spotlight anymore. His shoes lasted forever though. He was that good. And they're lasting forever. And that's like good as it can get in any brand deal ever of all time, right?
That's a little bit different, I would say.
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm just saying as far as like the brand goes.
Correct. It's kind of a comparison. But yeah, the Jordan shoe definitely, I mean,
iconic.
And he put a lot of time, effort into putting that as like an actual product.
It's the biggest company ever, and
it's kind of tough. And obviously too, with shoes are like a little bit of a different ball game. But I think what really needs to happen here, Yuli, is twofold, because I think this could come back as a negative if this doesn't happen to the company. Because Climo, if he just wants money and then he deuces out and says thanks so much, obviously that might like tarnish his reputation a little bit, but he also might like care, right? But for the company that signs him, I think if there isn't some actual content around it, if there isn't any videos, him on coverage, him interacting with the touring players on that company, if there isn't any of that stuff, I think this doesn't have legs. I don't. Like if it's simply just he's giving someone the rights to his name and likeness and that's it, and they're stamping it on stuff, and selling it initially.
That would be the silliest deal ever made of all time.
I think so too. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying.
But I got you.
I think what needs to happen is and from all accounts, it sounds like Climo is really interested in getting back into action. Right. And like being more involved. So I don't think he's just going to sit back at home and just rack in the royalty checks from disc going out. Right. That's the only way I think this flops, and even flops is the wrong terminology, because I think regardless of what happens, I think the initial run of whatever discs come out are going to do very well. And then it could fade if there isn't a push for actual content from them, because he's not going to be playing, right? So it's not like he's going to be on tour doing stuff. So there needs to be other creative ways to get him out there. Can't just be all about selling product.
Yeah.
And I don't think it will be, but that was my only take on it, is it could hurt the company if they're like, oh, we can make a lot of money selling this guy's name, and they don't actually do anything with him. And then it's just it.
No, I agree. Yeah. No, he has to be involved. He has to get out there, show his face a bunch. And with a contract that anybody signs in this day and age, you would be silly not to put that in the clause.
Yes. Now let's talk about what we're really getting at here. So, All Too World posted an article from Charlie Eisenhood, who is the creator, the founder of All Too World, the chief editor, basically all the fancy names that you want to give. But he's basically the name behind All Too World, right? So he himself posted this article. In the article, it states that Ken Climo is signing a multi-year deal, $200,000 a year, and is signing, according to multiple industry sources, this is what the sources were. According to multiple industry sources, Discraft, he's signing with Discraft, and they're going to be doing a expedited release of a Climo lineup of discs. So this kind of like, Yuli, talk real second. I got to handle, these dogs are going nuts. Talk real second. Talk with Silas.
Silas. So basically what Brodie's saying is there's an article that gets out there, and he has sources that tell him this is what's going on. This is all the juice. I have all the information. And I think what Brodie's going to get to is this true? And did somebody leak this information to Charlie? And if so, who did it? Am I right, Silas?
Yeah. It's still so crazy to me that people leak this kind of information. Because
Did you guys have a good talk?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just saying,
go back out there, actually.
Yeah, I was just saying, it's so crazy that in disc golf we have people leaking all these big deals when there's so much money on the line for these people that are getting contracts and stuff. Like, if something goes wrong or somebody says something they're not supposed to, like, they should get in trouble. But
they will.
At the same time, like, it's not their fault for knowing, I guess.
No, they will. We will see that, Silas. That there will be someone
that will happen.
There will be someone that will be made an example of, and people will start walking on eggshells. So first thing, apologize for the dog. We're potentially probably going to be moving to Florida at some point. I promise you, we will get a better podcast studio set up with that house. This house layout is not great for 3 corgis. I'll say that. It just is not great. So apologies there. Bear with me. We'll eventually make it better at some point. So let's finish like the actual article, and then we can kind of discuss. So multi-year deal, $200,000 a year. They basically had multiple industry sources tell them this. They didn't name any names. To Discraft, expedited release of a Climo lineup. And when Charlie reached out to Climo himself, he neither confirmed nor denied. I don't really know what that means. Maybe he just ignored him. I don't really know how you confirm nor deny, unless you literally say I confirm nor deny that. I neither confirm nor I don't know how that.
Maybe
I don't know how you get that.
Maybe he just didn't respond.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't think he got response, right? Maybe he's left them on the scene thing where it says scene and then you don't get anything else. In regards to Discraft declined to comment. So obviously, what is this looking like? It's looking like if we had to take a perfect guess, it probably looks like Discraft is going to end up signing him, right? Now, a couple things though. We have heard from other people. I think Nick Carl was saying something last night on Staggered Stance. And I think some other people on social media have been saying like not all these details are correct. So my guess is it's more in regards to either the multi-year deal, the 200,000, something might be off. And I don't know really if you want to talk too much about your thoughts on that, Yuli. I think we actually should shift because I think this is very interesting. Who it's coming from, I think, is very interesting. So Charlie Eisenhood works for the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So there is a little bit of that conflict of interest, right? Of where I don't know if you really want to piss people off if I'm Charlie Eisenhood. Now, would the Disc Golf Pro Tour be pissed off at this? I don't think so. Could Discraft be pissed off? Could King Climo be pissed off? Sure. But it's kind of one of those things of where like he's kind of like walking a weird line of where he's not just like an unbiased journalist, of where he's just out here doing his own thing. Like he's connected to the tour, which kind of ultimately connects him to the players, which also connects him to the sponsors of the players. And that's the big thing is like, I might not be connected at all to a certain company, but if I'm working for a company and that company sponsors them, I don't want to do something to piss off the sponsor, right? And so like, that's where I could see something weird happening here down the line. And I think we all agree something is going to eventually happen because at the end of the day, if I'm Discraft, if I'm King Climo, I don't want this information. I want people speculating, right?
Yeah.
I want people talking about it. Where's Ken going? I want all that, but I don't want someone that actually knows what's going on, knows numbers, knows all this. I don't want that to get leaked. That's not good. Do you agree with that?
No, I totally agree. I think everybody's in a weird position because most of the people who have podcasts and do those things are connected, including myself, right? And so topics come up on here, and it's our job to work your way around that and give as much information as possible, which I try and do without going past whatever line that is. And that's an important thing. And and here's my point to this is weird situation because in normal typical sports, you have analysts. It's their job to analyze and give their best take on what's going on. And that's usually an educated guess through whatever connections they have. And sure, some of it's going to be pretty dang close. But for the most part, with those guys, like analysts on ESPN and FS1 and all these different places, they have their sources. And in their let's say discussion of the things, that's what they say. I have my sources. You don't know what the sources are or if they're reliable. You know what I mean? But because of the connectivity of everything that you have, that's when we have to have this discussion like, okay, who leaked it? Why did they leak it? And are the sources credible? And why is this guy even talking about it? If he's connected to all these people, he's going to make somebody mad. Same thing could go for me if I say something that I'm not supposed to, right? About something that I know on the tour, which typically I know a lot. But it's my job as a professional to make sure that I handle those situations correctly, tread lightly down the things, and give the information that I can to the people who are listening to me who want information that I can give.
So I think that is well said. I think there is a big difference. I'm going to give two examples because I think there is a big difference between what we're talking about here and some other stuff, right? So two things that happened in sports recently. You had the college football playoffs announced. everyone was questioning, is Alabama going to get in? Is SMU going to get in? That was the big question mark. Who is getting into the playoffs? Well, before the show even started, which was supposed to reveal who's getting in, someone on Twitter leaked that SMU is getting in over Alabama. Right? Now, if I'm the college football playoffs and I'm the committee and all that stuff, am I happy that that information got leaked? Absolutely not. Is our audio bad, Silas? I'm seeing a bunch of people saying our audio is bad. I don't want to keep going if our audio is bad.
It's fine on my end.
Okay, so people are saying, hey, reset if you're having audio issues, guys, apparently is what you need to do. Come in, come out. Okay. So are there some people that are probably pissed off that that information got released? 100%, right? 100%. However, I don't think there is any sort of NDAs being signed, money, anything like that. I don't think anything like that is happening, right? Now, the other thing is Juan Soto. He just recently signed, I think, the biggest deal ever to the Mets, right? The big baseball player from I don't know that much about baseball, but the big Yankees player got signed to the Mets.
15 years, $750 million.
I think
or
someone was
something.
saying he's making like $100 every second or something. Something silly. Now, that information, Yuli, I don't believe got leaked. I think that got announced.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like someone was saying, hey, I'm hearing that he's going to the Mets. I'm hearing that he's going for this amount of money. I don't think any of that information got released until it was announced that it was ink on paper. I think the big issue with this is I don't know if ink has been on paper with Ken Climo yet.
Nobody knows anything until January.
And if there's NDAs being signed, which if this is a real contract, there should be NDAs being signed of where you cannot discuss what is being talked about or being written or any of that stuff. If that is happening, if NDAs are being signed and information is getting leaked out, and that could be from the player, that can be from Ken Climo's side, Eagle McMahon's side, Simon's side, Isaac's, the actual players, the one talking to friends and all that stuff.
Right.
It can also be on the manufacturer side of them talking to other people or people that work at the manufacturer that make discs being like, oh my God, I saw blah, blah, blah in the warehouse today. Right. And then they tell all their buddies because they want to be the guy that knows everything. Someone is going to be made an example, Yuli. Because again, there's a massive difference between breaking news that someone is touring next year and someone is signing a contract. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on in this situation. It's happened before. I know like with the Ricky deal, I know that was like a big issue of where I think that actually like caused issues. That information was coming out prior to him signing with this dynamic disc. So at some point, someone is going to have the balls to be like, you broke our agreement. I am now legally taking action.
Yeah.
And then from there, players can hopefully shut their mouths and stop telling people.
Yeah, I mean,
because like right now, like everyone in Isaac's group knows where Isaac's going.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
I mean, yeah, everybody probably knows who should know or has any connections.
Those people shouldn't know those. What my point is.
But they do know.
But that's my point. The only person that should know where Isaac is going right now is Isaac and his manufacturer.
The difference is why the contract with Juan Soto never got leaked is because you're dealing with $1 billion, and there's probably going to be big time repercussions.
But we're dealing with 200,000 potentially.
Oh, for sure. No, I'm with you. There's a big difference. There's a big difference between $1 billion and a 200,000. For sure,
well,
but
there's a difference. I get it.
It's in an industry that all deals with professionals, agents, and people probably keep their mouths shut because they've been in this thing with a lot of money for a very long time.
Well, I think they keep their mouth shut because they know if they don't, they'll actually have legal action take them. And I think a lot of disc golfers live in La La Land, Yuli. I think a lot of disc golfers don't live in the real world.
No, you're right. You're right, but I mean, we can't like, I mean, we can speculate, but we don't know if Juan Soto's buddies are telling everybody, and it's just not a big circle, and it just doesn't leak out to us right here. I don't know.
If you're Juan Soto and you sign something that says you're not allowed to tell anyone other than family members.
Well,
right?
You're not going to, because you're dealing with so much money.
Yeah. Why would he risk it? Why would you risk telling one of your buddies?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell anybody.
Correct. Like there's people that go on reality TV shows. I mean, this just shows you that disc golfers aren't living in the real world. There are people that go on reality TV shows and sign stuff that they're not allowed to tell anyone what happened, anything like that. And these are people that are secretly going out to try to be famous, right? These are people that are already probably cannot hold back and tell people. Guess what? They don't tell people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just saying. I think a lot of disc golfers do not live in the real world. And it's going to, unfortunately, bite someone in the butt that deserves it. It's going to suck because it's gone long too far of where people have just gone. I mean, that's the next thing we're going to see. Someone's about to sign a big deal. It gets leaked. And they say, you know what? Deal's off the table. It's going to happen because eventually, if I'm a company, right, in this instance, I don't want this information getting leaked out there. I just don't. It doesn't make any sense. So, I don't know. We'll see.
No, you're right. I think that Charlie's in a weird situation by being connected, but I still think hasn't done anything wrong by getting an article out there and speculating and doing his research. I feel like even if it's remotely close to what could or possibly happen, or if he's completely wrong, hey, put it out there. Do your job.
No, I'm saying professional disc golfers, a lot of them don't know about the real world. And sorry, we're going back and forth with some of the comment sections.
Oh, you're good.
It doesn't if you look at how some people have handled like just leaving sponsorships in the middle of the year, right? Like we've seen that multiple times where people just leave. What are we talking about? I think if you're responding, trying to defend these people, I think you're one of those people. You don't live in the real world. What are we talking about? Let's just call a spade a spade. There's a lot of disc golfers that their entire life has been playing disc golf and being in this bubble.
And it's not a real structured bubble, is
Correct.
What you're saying.
And that's what I'm saying. People are just doing handshake deals here and there. Heck, so like that's all I'm saying is.
But you're not supposed to be when here's the problem. It's not. I think we hit it on the nose.
Gannon doesn't have his driver's license, people. What are we talking about here? Come on, what are we talking about here?
I think you hit it on the nose when you're saying Juan's not going to say anything. He has people working for him that definitely can't say anything. They'll lose their job.
Yep.
And he's going to lose a contract. So guess what? He's not going to say anything. You're right. There's no repercussions. So it's 100%, I would say 95% of the time, it's the player telling somebody who then tells somebody who then tells somebody who then tells somebody.
Yes, and this is the problem with, again, like a lot of disc golf right now, Yuli, is like high school. Like we've had people come on here and talk about it feels like there's a lot of clicks when you go on tour with people and people. Yeah. And it is very much like high school where people want to be like, I have all the information. I know stuff that you don't know. Right. And heck, listen to some of these podcasts. Some of these people have they love to say oh, I can't tell you that. I know this. Like people want to have the knowledge and stuff.
Yeah.
And they love it. And if you're a player and you have knowledge and you find out about something or whatever, you want to go tell other people too.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm trying to say.
It's hard to keep secrets. It's not a fun thing.
That's not the real world though. If you do that in the real world, you get bit. It doesn't work.
Yep.
And someone just has to be made an example of. I'll leave it at that. I know there's some people in the comments going back and forth, which I love. Hey, come back and forth with us. All good. But I think what we're seeing is potentially a lot of growth and growing up right now in the contract game.
For sure.
And
remember, a couple years ago, it was a handshake deal.
correct. And I'm all for when it's done by the manufacturer, right? If Discmania wants to throw stuff out there that they're signing Gannon and they're throwing it into the media and they're doing all that stuff and you don't know it's coming from Discmania, I'm all for that. But when a player signs a contract with an NDA, or even Yuli, I'm sure you've been in meetings. Sometimes you're not even signed a contract. You get into the meeting and they say, "Hey, just letting you know,
it's just common sense."
Yeah, letting you know, moving forward, you're signing this contract right here, or this NDA right here. That even though we're not even in business right now, just us talking about future business can't be discussed.
Yep.
And so that's all I'm saying is it's a real shame that we're seeing people take advantage of that. And again, I'm not coming after Charlie. This is not me coming after Charlie.
You might not even sign an NDA, but there's certain information that is given to you, and you know it's a secret. So keep the damn secret.
Yeah, just don't tell anyone. Jeez, it is crazy. And we're starting to see too. We talked about this a little bit. I think what the disc golf world is doing, I kind of gave them a shout out. I think last podcast. I think what they're doing is like much needed. Like there wasn't some like hard, fast, quick videos that give information out like they're creating. So they're definitely hit a niche that exists in the media space for disc golf, and they're getting fed. They're getting fed information from pros. Like they're literally they're being very open. They're not saying what pros, but they're just getting fed information from pros that are just texting them, "Hey, say this, say this, say this, say this." Obviously, there's certain stuff I don't give a rip. Yeah, sure. Say certain tournaments are terrible. Say certain tee pads are terrible. Say behind the scenes, that's fine. But when it comes to like contracts and stuff that's written, that's where like the line needs to be drawn. And again, you can't get upset at the reporters, right?
No.
Charlie's not like holding up. Yeah,
he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, someone's telling him the information.
And he put it out there.
Or he went out and asked around and people are willing to say stuff to him and he's saying it. So I don't know. It is crazy, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. Like I said, I do think something is going to eventually happen. And everyone's gonna be like, "Holy crap, what the heck?" But we saw it coming. All right. So someone that is doing it, other than obviously him probably telling all his buddies where he's going, is Issac. Issac has been, taking a page out of some people's book about posting stuff on social media to get people talking. I think he had a post where he was putting with a certain manufacturer's putter into a different manufacturer's basket. And there was like a bag in the background with a different manufacturer. And so there was like 6 manufacturers all in one post.
Yeah.
And then his latest post right here is him at the airport. And in the background, he's sitting at the gate going to Detroit, which, Discraft MVP. So obviously there's some play there. People are speculating where he might be flying to. So I like what Issac's doing. Now, he obviously has his buddies in the chat being like, "Where are you going?" says Gannon. Like, these guys know where he's going. These guys already know. That's a problem. Like, again, that kind of goes back to our thing where only the players should know unless the manufacturer is already doing stuff with everyone prior. And they're building it up. But like Gannon's not alluding to where he's going. And hopefully Gannon's not going out being like, "Hey, do you want to know where Issac's going? He's signing here," right?
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. I think Issac's going around it the right way, and I like it. Any takes on that?
No, I think it's hilarious. They are all funny though. That group's pretty funny. They all like to do those types of things. And I'm here for it. I like it.
Yeah, and Kyle brings up a good point. He says, "Brodie, you're also someone who has had contracts in your life since you were a kid. This is some of the first time these high school graduates are getting this stuff." And that, again, kind of boils exactly down to my point of where a lot of people, like you're in the real world now. And if you're not qualified and you don't know what you're doing, you got to find someone that does to help you. When I first started, I did my own stuff for probably the first year because I was dealing with only, a couple $100 here, $1,000 here. I was dealing with very, very small contracts. As soon as, and then once the money started getting bigger, I reached out to a friend that was actually representing a musical artist. So they were actually starting to kind of look over contracts for me and help me. And then once it got to the point of where she was like, listen, this is too much work. You're sending me too much stuff. That's when I started trying to find someone. So you don't have to be an expert on contracts, but you are dealing in the business world now. You got to find someone that knows what you're doing, Yuli, to protect yourself.
For sure.
All right, we're seeing the first signs here, Yuli. We kind of mentioned we're going to see more of this happen, most likely, but we're seeing the first signs of players making announcements that they are no longer touring. The first one came, I believe, is Kevin Kiefer. He went to Instagram with a post saying his gratitude towards Latitude 64. He says, for the 2025 season, I'll be taking a step back. Thank you for everyone for the support for the last 3 years to keep me out there and help me chase my dreams. It wouldn't have been possible. Not the end of my disc golf career. It just will look different going forward. So that's Kevin Kiefer. His wife followed suit by saying something very similar along the lines that she also will no longer be touring next year. So those are the first two that we kind of have seen. Kevin was, I believe, right around like 70th or something in the Disc Golf Pro Tour rankings. Stacie, I believe, was 22nd. Now, this is also a very hot topic right now in the disc golf world. And I think people are kind of all over the page with this one, Yuli, of where some people are saying players need to get paid more. And then other people are saying, well, players need to be doing more to get paid more. And there's all different kind of speculations. The tour needs less players. There's all sorts of ideas on what's going on. At the end of the day, right now, the biggest issue, if you're trying to get more people to play tour, a full tour, right? If you're trying to get more professionals full tour, the biggest issue right now is pros are gambling their own money. That is the biggest issue.
100%.
If you take away entry fees, which is covered by very few people, like very few people on tour have their entry fees covered. If you take away entry fees, which is coming from most of the players, the payouts get chopped in half and almost become to where you're almost not even breaking even unless you're like top 5 or something, maybe, right? So go ahead.
Let me stop you right there.
Yes, go.
Do you think living out of a van, eating ramen noodle, do you think you could go a full tour, payouts cut in half, with 10 grand? Like you start off with $10,000. Do you think you can make it through the full tour?
So yes. So
okay. So
can I compound on that though? Answer a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, this is kind of like real world stuff, right? When you can debate whether or not you think college is meaning like you should go to college or not. I'm not debating that. I'm just saying my time at college was great for me to kind of try to figure out how to do stuff on my own, how to pay bills on my own, how to do my own laundry, how to make my own food, how to be responsible, all that stuff. You no longer have a parent that's kind of helping you fill in the gaps when you may make some mistakes, right? At a certain point in time, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and think to yourself, like, is this something that I should be doing right now with my life, right? And there's a lot of people in college that they party a lot. They don't really take their studying seriously. And there comes like a moment of where they're like, wait a second, I got to get my life together. I think that's what's happening for a lot of tours. Because if you think about it, Yuli, at the end of the day, if you think about it, for a lot of these young kids, right? And this is even more drastic for like the older folk. that are on tour, but it's mostly for the young kids. If you're like, hey, you're going to make a little bit of money, you're going to be traveling around the world, or the United States mostly, you're going to be playing your favorite sport with some of your favorite people. You want to do that? Who's saying no?
Nobody.
Right? That sounds awesome. Now, the problem is fast forward 5 years. You look at your bank account. You don't have a house. You might not be in a serious relationship, thinking about having kids. You look at your bank account. You might not have any money, brother. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, was that great? Was that a great 3 or 4 years? Sure.
100%. Yeah. Okay, so
it's not sustainable though. Like at a certain point, you see what I'm saying? Like at a certain point, you got to figure it out.
I do. So let me backtrack to what I was going to say. So $10,000, start your tour. No entry fees. Okay.
Okay.
I think that the hardest thing to do for these players is just to get out there on the tour. I think this is too big of a check for them to front before the season even starts.
You're talking about the tour card.
I do.
Okay. Well, it's not necessary to buy it.
I know, but you're guaranteed. My point is this. It doesn't matter. We're getting away from the entry fees. Up front, you're not going to be able to do it. Okay. And if they were completely gone and the tour was free, and this is just hypothetical.
Sure.
Like you get your
Less
tour card,
risk.
you get your tour card, and you're just allowed to go play the tournaments. Mm-hmm. And it's a smaller payout, but you just get your tour card and now you go out and do the thing. You can do that. That's what I did when I first started disc golf. I had like no money and I just went and I did it. And I figured it out. Once you get out there and you make the first step, you're not gonna starve to death. You know what I mean? You're either gonna make it and be successful or you're not. I think the entry level check right now for the lower tier is almost impossible for them to pay for at this point. And then the manufacturers and everything slowing down and getting rid of that, for sure impossible. These guys aren't going to be able to afford $350 entry fees a week when they...
Yeah, these people even paying taxes, you think, on their earnings?
No, I don't. And I don't think the IRS cares because they're not making any money anyway.
But that's yeah, go ahead.
So I'm just throwing that hypothetical out there, right? And I think the biggest problem is those entry fees for a lot of these players. Now with Kevin and his wife, I believe they're bringing a kid in the world. So it makes sense to me that they just got married. I think I heard that they were having a kid. If that's the case, could be just that, right? Hey, we're starting a family. I'm gone. Maybe. Tour life is not for me.
Sure.
Perfect. But I've heard also a bunch of other players, high profile players, call me and be like, dude, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm not going to be able to tour.
It's yeah.
So, but that's the biggest problem to me. You don't need the money. You don't need to have thousands of dollars and your entry fees paid for in order to go make it, right? If there's no entry fee. But that's the big money, is because...
So you think the payouts should cut in half and no entry fees is what you're thinking should be the play?
I'm not saying it should be. I'm just saying it'd be easier for these lower profile people to get out there and then still be on tour. Because...
What does that do for the upper echelon people, though? Does that change anything on the top?
I don't think it does.
The top.
I don't think it does because they're not getting like $200,000 or $100,000, or no, it was $200,000 Gannon Burmade. That's the number one guy. Let's say it's $130,000 for the top 50 people. How much are most of those people making from their manufacturers? More?
And how much?
150 or 120,000. Like Gannon made 200,000, which was ridiculous. But everybody else below him made about 100,000.
Yeah, the majority. You're saying the majority of people are making more money from their manufacturer than from their payouts. Yes,
for sure.
Yes,
right. So I don't think it'll affect them that much. No, And I think, and I
I'm
believe
just saying
this.
you're talking more about the low end people.
I know you asked me a question though. You said, "Do you think
did
this would
about
affect
I know
the higher end?"
I was curious about what you thought about the high end, but now
no. Let me finish. So the higher end, I don't think it's going to affect them very much because here's the thing: they need to win tournaments. If you told Gannonburr, Paul Macbeth, all these players, hey, go play for $2,000 at the major championship, you think they're going to show up and play? Yeah, they're gonna. So it's not weird. It's just a hypothetical that I'm throwing out there that makes sense to me. My point is this. We're not there yet, and I'm not saying to do this. I'm saying eventually in a pro sport, there shouldn't be an entry fee that we play for each other's money. We should be playing for somebody else's money. The sponsor who sees us and watches us and sees the stuff on our back and does the whole thing, that's who should be paying the purse. Not me paying for what? What does our entry fee go into as far as the purse? Half?
Yeah, half the entry fee, half the purse is the entry fee for the most part. Sometimes 40%, but mostly half. Maybe 40%. Sometimes. I think it averaged out to
we're playing for each other's money, like
I think it averaged out to about 50%. So 2 points. First one, Jake actually made a kind of interesting point. He says, I think Brodie looked at Ultimate as his passion over pay sport and fails to think disc golf could be the same for others. Okay, so Jake, big thing that you're missing here, no one was playing Ultimate for their livelihood. No one was playing Ultimate. Everyone had jobs. And then we would go and play Ultimate Frisbee tournaments. So like my teammates were teachers, engineers, doctors. Like they all had
the smartest team of all time. Jeez.
They all had full
astronaut scientists.
They all had full-time jobs, and Ultimate was just a hobby. It was just a side thing. Even when the semi-pro league started, people weren't quitting their jobs to become a professional Ultimate Frisbee player and only do that. Everyone still had jobs. As far as I know, Yuli, I'm going to say the majority of people that are playing disc golf don't have full-time jobs that are on tour. The majority of people that are touring, they don't have full-time jobs. The
majority don't. No.
they're not doing their 9 to 5. And
people
then,
on tour don't have jobs. Disc golf's their job, unless you're like 10 people. 10 people probably have jobs.
So if you're doing disc golf as your job, you can't do it you can't just do it for free. So like that's where that makes sense. People weren't playing Ultimate Frisbee to make money. People were playing Ultimate Frisbee to have fun because they had other things bringing in money. People are playing disc golf for fun, sure, but they don't have any other way of making money. Like this is their thing, so they got to make money. Now, the second point about what you just said that I'm curious about is if you reduce entry fees. I agree. That takes out a whole bunch of risk, right? Of like, holy crap, I just spent $5,000, $6,000 that I don't really have to enter in all these tournaments. But don't you think if you reduced it, let's just say are we going to assume everyone gets paid out the same amount as far as top 50 players get paid? Are we assuming that, right? So that now means 50th place is getting like $70,
$120 would be half. $150 because last place is typically almost your entry fee.
Yeah, 300. Sometimes it's in the 200s, depending.
Yeah, but with a bunch of ties. But for the most part,
so let's just say 100. Let's agree to $150.
You can make it on that, dude.
Make on it is not what I'm asking, though. What I'm saying is like the way that disc golf is currently structured.
Yeah,
is there's a pie, and there are a handful of players that have the majority of the pie, and everyone else has a little sliver.
Yep.
And if you're in the little sliver, guess what? If you don't get into the big piece of pie, you're out. You're just out. And that's just the way it is. If you're good enough to play on the Disc Golf Pro Tour right now, if you don't get a piece of the big pie, you will be gone in a couple years. That's just the structure. It is. Unless you're okay with making zero money for multiple years and having nothing in your bank account, which is very scary. to be like 30 years old and have no savings. That's terrifying. If you're okay with that, then sure, keep going with it. But like that's where we're at right now, Yuli.
Well, here's what's kind of crazy. Okay, is when I got hurt, I think I had made like $15,000. Let me check. Ask Edwin if he could check. Edwin, check and see how much money I had accumulated by the end of the tournament when I got hurt in Norway. And then we'll wait for that because my point's going to be...
Wait, you're saying how much money you made at Norway or...
No, just until then.
Okay, how much you made on tour leading up to Norway?
Yeah.
Of last year?
Of last year.
Okay. Yeah, Edwin can get that stat for sure.
Just real quick. And we'll... The reason I say that is, let's just... Hypothetical, I think it was like 15,000. It might have been less. It might have been a little more. I'm not sure.
Sure.
$15,000.
Mm-hmm.
I think at that point in time, I think I was like 18th, 19th on tour points.
And this is before taxes, by the way.
Yep.
Let's throw it out there. That's $14,487 before taxes.
Yep. So
that's more like probably like closer to what, 12,000 maybe after taxes?
Sure. So let's just say that's what I made. I'm in 16th place on the Pro Tour. So then let's say that I don't have a sponsor, right? I do it, Brodie. I get out there. I'm one of these guys. I don't have a sponsor. I pay my own entry fees, and I'm killing them because that's what they would do if they didn't have a sponsor and they're doing this stuff and they're riding it out and they're killing it and they have 16 grand minus the 8 for all the tournaments that you play. You know what I mean? Well, we'll say 5 because I didn't make it to the end of the season. And let's say I keep on that pace and I play 6 more tournaments, I get to 21,000.
Okay.
And then you minus the 8,000 for all the tournaments that I play.
Yep.
I'm profiting what?
Before taxes?
Yep, before taxes.
13,000?
13,000. Am I going to be able to build a bankroll? Now I have 13,000 going into the off season to live and then try to make the payment for the next tour card going into the next year. Is it plausible?
Yeah,
no.
I mean you could do it, but it's not
crazy.
a fun. It's not a fun lifestyle. And
no.
And again,
it's
I'm not
now.
I'm not attacking people that don't have savings. I understand that there are people.
It's a real thing, though. It's a real thing.
Yeah, I understand there are people right now living without.
That's the way they live.
Without a bunch of money in their bank saved up. I get it. I understand that. But I'm still also just talking about, like, if you're a kid, how long do you just
How long can you do that?
That's my whole point. Is like how, like,
so
if you
at what? So let me keep going. At what point? So 16th. At what point do you get to the big pie, Brodie? Where's the big pie? Top 5?
There's just not a lot of people that have the big pies.
That's what I'm saying. So your goal is to get to the big pie, which is like top 5.
I would say top 10 players. You're probably in the big pie.
Okay, big pie.
And then I would say there's probably another, let's say 5 outside of the top 10 that are either in the top 20 and have big contracts or like decent contracts, or outside of the top 20 and have decent. So there's really like 15 people that are probably making decent money. Yep. And it's like, I see all these people talking about like there should be more and there should be more. Should there though be?
So it goes back to my point.
There's not enough people watching.
Get rid of the entry fees. Get rid of the entry fees. Let these guys go out there. It actually making less money, but not spending all the money is a less stressful life than spending the money and then not making it.
Oh, yes.
You get what I mean?
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I still think, though.
I think that
if you're a touring pro and you finally.
Could be an answer. It might not be the right answer, but it's another one.
But it's just,
and it's a less stressful one on those guys.
But gas is like, I mean, just think about that. Like gas from.
You can find a buddy to split the gas for you. Like there's ways to get past all this stuff.
Sure. But again, it goes back to that same thing of like, and that's what I'm saying is like, I think if you want to grind and you want to live in your car, and grind, by all means, that's on you. And what's happening is I just don't think there should be handouts or anything like that for everyone on tour. Just because you're on
No, I don't either. Absolutely not.
If we're really looking at it, there should really probably only be like 30 people, 40 people on
100%.
tour, right? So I hear the narrative of like pros need to be getting paid more, manufacturers need to be paying more. And it's like, why? If I'm a manufacturer and I'm looking at my return on certain players and I'm like, this person's giving me absolutely nothing, why should they be getting paid more?
No, I agree. I agree with that 100%. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't pay him. But I also, so I'm looking out for those players. That's just a hypothetical. I live in the real world. This is the world we live in, to where, guess what? I've never been part of the big top 5 pies. I wasn't making any money back then when I was rated top 5 in the world.
At the beginning, you weren't a big pie. You're a big pie now, though.
Yes, but guess how I did it? Hard work. I did all the dirty work.
Yes.
I did every single thing that I could possibly do to be successful. Every single thing. So when I hear these things and these crybaby boo-boos about, oh my gosh, my contract's gone and blah, all this stuff, I say, hey man, a couple of us has paid the way for you to like do it. It's just a lot of work.
Yeah, and what's going to end up happening is if there's, let's say, 50 people like Yuli that are like, I'm going to put in the hard work. Guess what? Not all 50 of those people are going to get into the big pie.
No,
it's still, no matter how many people are putting in the hard work, what ends up happening is just now even the more upper echelon people are that putting in the hard work get the pie, right?
Yeah.
Like until the pie,
you double your chances though.
Until the pie gets bigger, Yuli. It's not like you can just start feeding everyone. You know what I'm saying?
No, but you can still give yourself a better chance, and that's something that I don't see a lot of these people do. It's like, hey man, I don't feel bad for you. You're out there practicing, and good on you. You're trying to be the best in the world, and I get that and everything, but don't complain about the money you're not getting. Don't complain about the contracts you lost. Don't complain about these things, because there was ways that we have set for you to do to make sure you get them, you know? And if you go through those steps and you do it the right way and you keep your head down and you check all the boxes, whatever they are, do I think it's fair that you're supposed to do all that stuff? Heck no. You think I like doing it? No. It's called work. You know? It's called work.
Yeah, and again, it's just...
Then I do put on the other hat of, hey, I want to see these guys succeed. I want that to happen. And how can we do it? And I think in typical normal sports, they provide you a place to come compete. And if you're one of the best in the world, you don't got to pay for it.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be very interesting to hear what other pros have to say about that, on whether or not taking away the touring. It would be interesting twofold, right? To talk to the top guys, what do they think on that? And then also to talk to like the lower echelon people, like you're saying, that don't have the big manufacturer sponsorships. What do they think on that? It'd be interesting. So, all right, we are going to actually skip. We've got end of the year stats from our guy Edwin Stats. We're actually going to hold off on doing that until next week. And we're going to actually go straight into some listener questions right here, because I think we've got some good ones this week. So the first one comes in, says, do you think it would be more interesting on tour if no practice rounds were allowed?
Interesting? That'd be silly. It would be interesting. More interesting? No, I think it'd be less interesting, because you would see some of the funniest stuff ever. People just going out of bounds all the time, and you
get what they're saying though.
I do.
Is there almost this overload of content on the course before the course is even played? I don't know if I agree with it.
Yeah, no, I hear what they're saying. Yeah.
But the idea of like no one's seeing anything from the course until the actual day one of the coverage, you're kind of like hungry for it, versus you've seen. Now obviously you can tell them it's like, don't watch the practice rounds if like that's your thing. But I kind of see what he's saying.
Yeah.
Next question: chances of seeing a round or two with Climo in a Masters tournament as an incentive from a new sponsor. I don't think the new sponsor is going to care if they're playing or not.
No, I don't either. I would love to see him play though.
Yeah. I mean, I would too, especially like in
That'd
some
be
like
one
maybe
of the only
skins
things I'd watch
matches.
from the Masters. If he was playing, I would tune in for sure.
Thoughts on the tour going to Colorado? It would be fun to see players have to adjust and usually creates good stories in other sports as well.
Yeah, I love it. I love Colorado. Beautiful country. Good disc golf courses. Really tough to play there. I would love it. Yep.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things from Worlds being in Utah was everyone was having to try to figure out their discs.
Yep.
Like it was a completely different element, which was kind of a nice change of pace for us. Is it acceptable for the DGPT to prevent pros from playing in other tournaments outside the tour? Stagger Stance alluded to rumors of the Disc Golf Pro Tour player rule changes stating such. So there's Stagger Stance said that the Disc Golf Pro Tour might make it to where pros aren't able to play in any tournaments outside the tour.
Yeah, it would be, in my opinion, it'd be silly. It'd be silly. Let's say you want to go home and play your local A tier. Why wouldn't you be able to do that? If you've bought your own tour card, it's not supplied to you. I think that's kind of one of the loopholes I look at. Like, why wouldn't I just be able to go play another PDGA event? If the PDGA is helping run the Pro Tour and their name's on that, you probably should be allowed to play other PDGA events, right?
Also, I just completely blanked real quick. That first question, Yuli, I was thinking that when they said practice rounds, I was thinking that they were talking about practice round videos.
No, they're just saying practice
rounds. They're
rounds.
talking about straight up, there's no one's allowed to practice the course.
That's why I said
that's terrible. That's terrible. Sorry. I kind of misread that because I was thinking, which I think that actually is somewhat of like an interesting take of if no one could video practice rounds on the course. So the first time you're seeing the course is actually coverage. That might be an interesting take, but this no one's allowed to practice. No, I hate that. Sorry, continue on. I literally just saw that and I was like, I misread that question.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that I think it'd be silly not to be able to go home, see your family, play a local C tier, which is what they're kind of saying you can't do.
Yeah, this only makes sense to me, Yuli, if it's a competitive tour.
Right.
So if a competitive tour pops up, you can only play in Disc Golf Pro Tour events. We don't care if you play in like C tier events and all that stuff.
Right.
You can't play for the competitor tour. That makes sense. And maybe that's what the rumors were, is like maybe they've heard that maybe a competitive tour. I haven't heard anything like that, but maybe there is maybe some talks about a competitive tour coming up and they're just kind of trying to maybe set themselves to protect themselves. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, there's always rumors of tours popping up here and there and all over the place. I mean, that's what happened with the Pro Tour and the National Tour, right?
Yeah, right. Would the tour be more exciting if they rotated courses more regularly outside of maybe a few iconic courses? I'm kind of sick of watching practice videos and live coverage of the same courses every year.
Yeah, I think we will keep rotating until we find the big ones. Yes.
I think the ones that you're sick of or you're not excited to watch is because those courses aren't good.
Yeah, I agree.
The iconic courses that you
love to watch them.
Yeah, those are just good courses. And I think what we're missing right now is we're kind of missing like good courses that are iconic, right? Like so like Northwood Black would be like the iconic course to me.
Yeah, Maple Hill.
Iconic.
Yep. US DGC.
Iconic. Yes. New London I would not consider an iconic course.
Not yet. Not
But
enough
it's a
playing
very,
time.
but it's a. What I'm saying is like the course doesn't have to be iconic for it to be good.
Yeah. That's
You could
true.
just have a good course that maybe just doesn't look that great.
Would you say that Idlewild is an iconic course?
I was just thinking about that.
I think it's a niche course. Like,
yes, I think it's
different and people like the different, but I don't think it's
think it's iconic, but I think it has a place on tour.
Agreed.
So like I don't think people get super jacked up that it's Idlewild week.
Yeah.
But
Waco?
I think that's in the same realm as Idlewild.
Okay.
Where I think it has its unique place for the tour, but it's not iconic.
Fountain Hills, iconic, but never going to be on tour. Santa Cruz, iconic. Not going to be on tour.
Masters or what was that place called?
Masters Cup, yeah.
Yeah, but what was that course called? It's
Santa Cruz.
That's what the course is called?
De
La. That's what I'm thinking of. Thank you. Okay. You're my dark horse pick this year, Brodie, to win not one but 2 Pro Tour events. Oh, dude. I hopefully you didn't bet any money. With that being said, how's the off-season training going? That's you.
You
just
answered that question earlier.
You just lit some money on fire right now. I'll let you know if your pick isn't as terrible right now, because that's probably the worst sports pick I've heard in a long time. Are disc golf courses profitable, and what role do they play in the future of the sport?
I think they could be profitable if somebody owns the property and has it paid off.
Someone owns the property and they have it. Okay. Well,
so then you're just paying taxes,
which
and
is
you're
a
just
lot of money.
It is, but then you just have people. Well, then it's not profitable anyway. Like, owning property is not a profitable business unless you're owning to sell.
It is. You can have a business be profitable. What I'm saying is,
I'm saying property.
Do you think they make more than the taxes? I don't think so.
No, you're right, but they would have to pay the taxes anyway. So I don't think that counts.
No, it definitely does. It definitely counts. What are you talking about? That's like
you
rent.
Think it counts?
It's like, yeah, that's like saying that a company would be profitable if they were paying $20,000 of rent.
You're probably right, but listen to the way my brain works.
What?
Listen to the way my brain works. If you have a piece of property,
yes,
okay, and there's nothing on it, and you pay the taxes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Where they're like, okay. You're saying a different.
You're not making a profit on that. You put a disc golf course on it, you're not making profit on it.
That is a different example than what I was saying. What you're saying is right. Hey, I already own this huge property.
Yep.
Let me put a disc golf course on it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's fine.
What I was saying
is, yes, that's what I was saying is you go out and buy a piece of property to put a disc golf course on it.
That'd be tough.
That'd be very tough.
I think there's only a few people who have done it. I have to believe that Kale was profitable. But I don't know if he owned it. He might have.
I don't think he owned it.
He might have leased it, but it was profitable.
We might have to have him come on here to see if it was profitable or not.
From what he's told me, reliable source.
Oh.
Profitable.
But does he have like investors and all that? Okay, yeah.
He might. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that jumps out at me. Like, you can't say Maple Hill because that's a tree farm.
Tree farm. Is it a profitable tree farm? Doesn't seem like it. A lot of trees left every year. No, just kidding. Tons of trees.
Yeah, I don't think there's a solo disc golf course that maybe in Europe. Maybe there's one in Europe that we don't know of.
Well, the one in California with the shoes on the trees. That place is profitable.
What?
San Diego.
There's no place in California.
Marley Field. Guarantee Marley Field.
They're paying for the land? You're telling me there's a course in California paying for the land?
Yeah, Marley Field. Look it up. Read a book sometime, dude. What are you talking about?
Okay.
This place it's a tiny little piece of property, and I swear 1,000 people go through there a day, and they pay like $5.
You think they're bringing in $5,000 of revenue per day?
I bet, dude. I'm not lying. Listen,
that's
I'm not
insane.
gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't doubt it. unless things, I haven't been there in 10 years, but 10 years ago, no, listen. 10 years ago when disc golf wasn't popular, there was that many people playing it. It was crazy.
But who owns the course?
I don't know.
Is it like a public course and they just have
because I don't think it's public property. They might lease it or something, or he might own it. I don't know.
Yuli, this guy just said we're currently donation based.
What, Marley Field?
Yes, that doesn't count. They're taking donations.
Well, you used to have to.
That's not a business though. It's if it's a donation thing, it's going back to like the
city.
No. It's going probably back to the course.
They're making money there, dude. I don't care what that guy's telling you.
This guy says, get in touch. We can give you some stats on her financials.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean,
there's so many people who
you pick the most expensive place there could be to have a disc golf course be profitable.
Like, what I was looking at, listen to what I'm thinking. Tiny, teeny, tiny piece of property. 4 billion people play there a day. Like, how can that not be profitable?
I love it. All right, question to Paul. When switching manufacturers, do you keep memorable discs or do you sell them off? If Yuli has kept some, what disc did he hold on to and the memories that are connected to them?
Oh, yeah, I have one back here.
That's actually a great question.
Here.
Yeah, so he keeps them. There you go.
I kept that one. I keep memorable ones for sure. I kept a couple discs that made it on ESPN.
That's sick.
Like a top 10 disc. I have I think I made it on 4 times and I kept all those discs. But that's my PA Wonder back there. That thing was my go-to workhorse when I was with Prodigy, and it saved me a lot of shots. And it was probably the most famous disc in my bag when I was with them because I was one of the only people throwing that particular run for a long time. And then over time, people wanted the orange PA Wonders, and we didn't have a zone or anything like that, right? And so I had to work that as my zone, a really stable PA1. And it kind of changed my whole sidearm game to where I learned how to throw putter sidearm as good or what I felt like back then better than anybody. And so, wide rim putters to throw is really difficult and tough.
Do you have any discs from wins?
Winning disc? I do. I have one from the Amateur World Championships that I won. It's a T-Rex that I got out of the players pack, and I threw it on the very last hole when I won and parked it. I still have it.
That's actually kind of sick.
Yeah, and it's brand new because I got it out of the players pack, and I'm like, oh, sweet, a T-Rex. Yeah, I'll use this. I was brand new. I'd only been playing a year. I'm like, oh, brand new disc. This thing's dope, and use it the whole week.
That's sweet. I wish I had a better memory on certain things.
I have some old Ace discs too, like one of my first ever Ace I kept forever.
Were you someone that signed it on the disc?
Absolutely. Yeah, back then when I hit my first one, and actually that went into a Brixton player card. And
that's sick.
There's 4 of them out there that have a piece of my first ever Ace.
That's sick. I have a huge bin with all these different Frisbees because I used to always buy the tournament disc when I went to an Ultimate Frisbee tournament. So I have a bin with all these Frisbees from all the different Ultimate Frisbee tournaments I've played in. And see, I actually I feel like I need something physical. So a photo, a video, something tactile that I can hold, something like that for me to remember something. Because if you just told me hey, what do you think about this tournament? Maybe it clicks, but a lot of times it won't register.
Yeah.
And I need something to be oh yeah, I remember that. My memory's getting bad. I need to do more puzzles. With the
blueberries, eat blueberries, dude.
I eat a lot of blueberries.
Hey, that helps. That's
blueberries are great. Carrots also for your vision. With my eyes also really bad. I'm -8 in both eyes now.
I don't know what that means, but
0, I think 0 is you have good eyesight. The majority of people, their prescription is probably in the 2 to 4 range.
So you have to wear contacts.
Oh, I'm blind without contacts. I left my contacts, my old contacts box in the car. And so because I just got my new prescription done.
Yeah.
So they make you take your contacts out and they do all these tests to check on your eyes, make everything good with your eyes. And the lady was like, "Oh, do you mind like going and get your contacts out of your box so we can see what you were using last time?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
How?
Yeah. And oh my gosh, getting outside, I was like, bro, I can't see any. I'm like, I'm basically just looking to see if big shapes are moving towards my direction as cars. I can't. Everything is blurry. I can't.
I got a funny thing that I tell like blind athletes that I think's hilarious, and I think you'll like this.
You talk to blind athletes a
Yeah,
lot?
like you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like you.
Okay.
And I say,
thought you meant like actual blind athletes.
No. And I say like, what I like to say is like, do you think you're a more naturally gifted athlete than I am? And typically they say yes. And then I'm like, all right, take your contacts out and I'll play you in any sport.
Okay, that's a good question. What sport could I beat Yuli in without my contacts?
It'd be tough, man. I mean, naturally gifted.
What?
Naturally gifted. I mean,
it would have to be.
You didn't get eyesight, bro. That's a big one.
It would have to be.
Bored with it.
It would have to be like wrestling, I think.
Oh, for sure. You get a hold of me, I'm toast.
It would have to be something to where it's like.
But an actual fight, I don't know.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think it has to be wrestling because I think if it's like MMA,
that's a good one. I never thought about that.
Because at least we're close enough to where I can kind of see you, and then once I get my hands on you, a lot of people I'm sure that are good at wrestling.
Oh, for sure.
Boxing would be terrible. Boxing would be awful. I wouldn't be able to see a punch.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be able to hit you.
No.
Like swimming or running.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Swimming or running.
But running would be tough.
No, like on a track.
Yeah, on a track.
On a track.
Like cross country.
Cross country, I'd break my leg. Cross country, I would break my leg.
But it's just a funny thing that I tell them. I'm like,
yeah, majority of sports, I'm getting absolutely destroyed. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. With the pay cuts, do you think the tour will make it another 10 years? It's slowly way down from COVID. Almost all the golfers I saw that joined during COVID have almost all moved to a new hobby. Courses are more and more empty, and tournaments only have the same local guys. What happened with all this like the world is ending talk? I feel like this is very recent.
I mean, that's been going on since I was a kid. And
Does it always happen in disc golf?
The world's always ending.
In disc golf, though?
Oh, and I thought you meant just in general.
No, I'm
this
saying
is
like
happening all the time, dude.
No, I'm talking about like disc golf. I feel like this narrative is like people are really being like, "Oh my God, the tour is gonna be gone and disc golf's gonna blow up and like no one's gonna be playing anymore." I don't know. I don't think that's
gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's enough.
We're growing every year as far as the pro tour.
Yeah, it's a niche sport. Like, did people get paid way more than they probably should have? Sure.
Yeah.
Is the market kind of settling itself back down like it does in literally every industry? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like having a couple people get paid less and a couple people not touring, is that all of a sudden going to be like
the end?
Yeah, I think all these people have no idea how businesses work that are being like, "Oh, this is over." It's like there are businesses that don't make crazy profits year over year.
Yeah.
And are growing in other areas.
I agree.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think the landscape's changing and we got to change with it. That's all that there is.
Go ahead, sorry.
It's just the way that it is. The tour's growing. Who knows what the tour is going to look like in 10 years? Who knows? It'll be different.
And just the verbiage too, pay cuts. No one's getting pay cuts. What? No one's getting a pay cut. A pay cut means you work for someone and it's your job and you're an employee of them, and they're saying, we used to pay you $100,000 to do your job. We're now only paying you $50,000.
So you wouldn't say if somebody was like, all right, you're getting $1 million to play disc golf for us, and now I'm going to offer you 500. That's not a pay cut. That's just a sponsorship cut.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a pay cut, because this is why I would say that's not a pay cut, Yuli. Because if you work at a job and you do the same exact work, and you're going to do the same exact work the next year, and they're like, hey, we have to pay you less for doing the same thing, that I see as a pay cut, of where it's like you're producing the same thing that you were producing last year, but you're paying paid less. I think the case here is a lot of this is performance based, and a lot of it also has to do with like who's on their team, right? And so they might be making room for other people on your team. You might have had a bad season last year. Like you're also not, these people aren't also, here's the other thing that's a pay cut.
You're competing for your job.
Correct. And well, kind of. And also the other thing is like, it's not like people have a 4-year deal where they're making $100,000 and 2 years into it, they're saying, you know what, these last 2 years, we're giving you a pay cut. We're only giving you 50. You are signing a contract with someone. Your contract ends. When that contract ends, that company doesn't owe you squat. They don't have any, you're not, what's the word I'm looking for? Where you're entitled. You're not entitled anything to them.
Yeah.
So if they say, hey, we would like to sign you again, but for less, I don't know. I think some people I feel like there's just a lot of like people thinking like certain things should happen. And I just don't think that's how businesses work.
Right.
Of where it's like, brother, we were paying you $100,000. You were absolute dog trash. We're not paying you $100,000.
Yeah, guess what? You don't get a pay cut if you're the best in the world. You get an increase, probably.
Exactly. There you go. A pay rise. Does Yuli still play Fortnite, and thoughts on OG season?
Oh, I do. And I haven't played that yet. But I did play it last year when it was the OG map, and it was awesome. It was the greatest thing ever.
What do you play on?
PS5.
Ooh, you're one of those people.
Yeah. I'm not good.
I feel like it's so hard to be good on a PS5, is it not?
It's hard to be good.
Or you have that aim assist?
I'm going to say, yeah. Yeah, I think it's hard. I love it, though. I like playing because I get to talk to my friends, talk crap. You know, that's the reason. I don't like get on there and you're not going to see me playing by myself. Like the only time I play is if I have a nice group and I get on there, I see a couple buddies on there, and I'll get on there and play.
When Fortnite came out, I was streaming at the time on Twitch. And so I kind of got on it pretty early, an early adopter, if you will. Mm-hmm. And kind of like anything, if you're one of the first people in it, you can kind of advance very, very quickly. And so I was like a pretty solid player on Fortnite. And then they started adding in building, and they started adding in all this other stuff. And then everyone started kind of, if you've been playing a game for 6 months and someone's just started playing a game a week ago, you have such a huge advantage.
Yeah.
But if you've been playing a game for a year and now they've been playing a game for 6 months, your advantage is not that big.
No.
Like it gets smaller. So like I just started getting dominated. So
yeah.
That was my career in the Fortnite world. I was more of a PUBG guy. I loved playing PUBG with my boys. That game brought tons and tons and tons of laughs. All right.
I do think you and I could Twitch Fortnite. It'd probably be pretty popular.
Oh, I play on PC though. Can you do crossover?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to get my PC set up. I haven't set it up in a while. I have like a full-on gaming PC that I got to get set up.
Yeah, your new house in Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I need it. All right, over under. This is an interesting question here.
Yeah.
We'll see how close we can get. Over under 20.5. So basically 20 pros or 21 pros players this season who play 5 or more Pro Tour events, so they're on the tour for a decent amount of events, and are open bag.
Wow. Well, how many are there right now? Are there like 20 of them?
Are there like 20 people?
Yeah, maybe. If
like
you
in
went
the
down
top 80?
If you went down the list, you could probably find a good amount.
I would have said closer to like, oh, maybe you're right. Gosh. Because I mean, I guess are we counting like thought space and stuff like that as
where
open
you can
bag,
have an open bag,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably, I mean, it's over for sure then. I think there might be more than 20 right now.
So maybe the question is how many players are just playing unsponsored?
Okay. Maybe that's what they were getting at.
Yeah. Under.
You think out of 100 people, less than 20% will be unsponsored?
Yeah. They're going to have some sort of little sponsorship.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's at the end of the day, I guess that's what these companies are still very nice when they don't need to be.
Well, not just very nice, but there's a big difference between, if I don't have a sponsor and somebody says, hey, I'll pay you $200 a month, I might do it.
That's what I'm saying though. It's like, it's when companies get big enough, giving someone $200 is not even worth their time. And it's not even worth the risk of all the stuff that goes into having a sponsored player.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by like.
Yeah, but they do. And
these companies are being too nice.
Yeah.
You can't, because I can't remember what podcast it was. I was listening to one podcast. Can't remember who it was. Shoot. Maybe some of the comments will do it. But they were basically saying like, they're putting the onus on pros and being like, why don't you reach out to like a sunglass company or reach out to a shoe company and reach out to this? And me and Kelsey were kind of just laughing, being like, no, none of these people are going to give you money. What? If you're like,
maybe.
What?
Maybe. Don't know until you try.
If you're like if you're a 60th player in the world and you reach out to Sunglass Hut,
if they don't know what's going on and you say you're 60th, there's a possible, and then you're like, yeah, man, I'm like 60th in the world, and they don't know anything about it.
No, that's what I'm saying is like at a certain point in time, it's not even worth their time to deal with it. Like, obviously $200 a month is nothing to them, but it's not even worth their time.
If you're a local guy
or worth their local, you have to try to find like local businesses.
You're the best play, like you got a kind of a small town, and disc golf is like a big deal there. And you're ranked 80th in the world. And people know you and love you in your small town, and you go to a little shop and you tell them, and then people vouch for you. I think you could maybe get a little something.
Maybe a little shop, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I would suggest that to people.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
They weren't talking about like going to your your local mom and pop shop.
Yeah, my entrepreneurship goes.
That's what I'm saying.
What I would do.
This is like you're basically saying you're going to people that are like donating money to their local like flag football teams in Little League baseball.
Yep.
To where they're just like, hey, I don't even care what happens with this money.
100%. But it's possible.
Hey, Day Bear, it's not my freaking fault, brother. Sorry, we have a new person in the chat. I just knowing. I'm not gonna. I mean, sure. Like if you, I'm just saying. I just thought it was funny because I don't think that's what this person was saying. This person was basically saying, hey, if you don't have money and you're not making money, that's on you. And I'm trying to say, like, what top pro has an outside sponsorship? Top pro. So, like, why are you thinking like someone that's 70th or 50th in the world can get someone?
Yeah.
It's these companies, and that's kind of like my big argument with people like saying that, When are we going to get outside sponsors in disc golf to like sponsor tournaments and all that stuff? And the argument is it's not so much the money. The money, it doesn't matter. They have so much money that they just literally give it away almost at the end with crazy amounts of advertising here and there and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's when you are talking about them putting money into something that they're unfamiliar with and then also now being tied to an event. They aren't just going to give the Disc Golf Pro Tour $20,000 and say, do whatever you want.
Okay.
Their name is tied to it. They're going to have a task team. They're going to have planning. They're going to have all these sorts of things. Their lawyers are going to have to be on board. There's so much that's involved when you're talking about like bigger companies when it comes to this that it ends up not even being worth it to them is the whole thing. So that's where you probably need, and I don't know what the Barbasol connection is. I haven't really ever figured that one out. I would love to kind of figure that out.
Yeah, we need to get him on here so we can get our manscape and then a little.
Well, it's like, do one of those people play disc golf? Like, is there a CEO that has a son that plays disc? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I wonder what the connection is.
A lot of sponsorships I got on YouTube were because kids watched my content and their dads or parents or whoever they were like big ups at companies. And like, that's how a lot of times like people would introduce me being like, well, I didn't really know who you were, but my kid watches your stuff. Right. So like, that's what I'm wondering. Like, is that what Barbasol is? Like, is there someone in Barbasol that's connected to disc golf that they want to be connected to disc golf? Because if there's not a connection there, I don't see a big company getting into disc golf until the eyeballs are on it to where it makes sense for them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Be interesting. Chat, did we miss anything? Silas, did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
Yuli, anything did we miss anything?
I don't think so. Go to my YouTube channel, check out my Vlogmas.
Yeah. All right. I think
it's the only thing we missed.
Yeah, you just posted a video the other day, didn't you?
I post one every day.
No. What's the one that I just saw? What was the one that you just posted?
First round back right-handed.
Nope. What was the one before that? Trying to beat your score or something, or
no? Ran a charity event.
So you're gonna make me have to freaking go to your YouTube channel now.
Ooh.
Because you're not.
See, this is good combo. Maybe other people are doing the same.
Yeah.
thing.
Go to Yuli's YouTube channel right now. Subscribe if you're not subscribed to Yuli's YouTube channel.
I got one posting right after I get off of here. Brand new one popping up.
No, it was the putting league. That's what it was. Because I thought
the putting league.
I thought the thumbnail was kind of cool. Yeah, I saw.
Ooh, I got you with the thumbnail.
Yeah, it was a good thumbnail.
Thank you.
Is that an actual picture of your downtown?
Yeah.
Oh, it's very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, they shut down our downtown Main Street down.
I know what Vlogmas is. Come on.
Yeah, they shut the downtown Main Street completely down, and then we ran the putting league in the street. That's cool.
That's kind of sweet. I was around when Vlogmas was created. Thank you very much. I don't think that many other people on here.
Did you ever do it?
YouTube videos with vlog. Silas, you have something to say?
Yeah. Did you ever do Vlogmas?
I think I maybe tried to attempt it at one point.
It's hard.
My content wasn't very Vlogmas content.
Yeah.
The 15 to 20 trick shots that I would put in a video, not really easy to do that every single day. But
one trick shot per day.
That's not good for YouTube though.
Yeah, it is. But it's Vlogmas. You could still do it, Bubba.
But back in the day, I'm saying YouTube's changed now a lot. Yeah, back in the day, if you literally just put out, there was no YouTube Shorts, Silas. Did you know that, brother? Have you ever heard a thing called Vine, Silas?
Yeah, dude, it's like 30 years old.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, no, hats off to anyone that does Vlogmas because
I think it's me. I think this year it's just me and Drew. You should go over to Drew Gibson's channel too. He's doing it. I think. I might be wrong, but I think he's
putting out a lot of videos. I've seen him posting a lot.
I think he did. I saw him over with Simon over the last weekend or something. And they posted a bunch of videos. And typically, like last year, they all came to my house and we all did Vlogmas together.
Westy just said I should do 25 days of bad trophies.
That's a Grinch move right there.
Oh man. No, that Frosty, that changed several years ago. Before it didn't matter if you had a 30-minute video or an hour-long video, you would only get one ad. And then all of a sudden, they changed it to 10 minutes. Now I believe it's at 8 minutes, where any video over 8 minutes, you can add multiple ads. But if you go back, I can't remember how far back it is, but if you go back long enough, you'll find videos that are like 3 minutes long, 4 minutes long, and then it's just a black screen for 6 minutes because they made the video 10 minutes long, but the content is only 3.5 minutes. So that way they could put multiple ads on it. I think maybe YouTube has maybe cracked down on doing that now, but that's what everyone was doing back in the day. So yeah, kind of crazy. All right, well, hey, good podcast. I didn't think we were going to go for 2 hours, but we always find a way, Yuli.
Yeah, we get after it.
All right, let's real quick. Silas, jump on here real quick too. Let's hash out who are we trying to get on the pod? Give me some names. I'm going to write down a list.
Climo.
Give me some names too. We're going to do a little exercise. Who do we need to get on the pod that we haven't had on the pod before or we haven't spoke to in a while? Obviously, Calvin and Zach, top of the list.
Simon,
yeah, we haven't gotten Simon on in a while. Who else would be good to have pop on here? Oh, Sexton. Yeah, Sexton would be good. We haven't had him on in a while.
Big Germ.
Big Germ's always a blast. See what he's up to. See how the putting league went. Do we try to get Paige Pierce on?
Could, yeah, absolutely.
I'll let you be in charge of that one. Let's see here. Anyone else? Silas, give me one name, and I'll try to get them on. Who do you want?
Who do you want, Silas?
Yeah, come on, Silas. Who do you want, man?
I don't know.
Behind the screen, Silas.
I don't know. I really liked listening to Brad Yuli's caddy. He was very interesting.
Right.
Trying to get Brad.
All right, we definitely need to get Brad back. That's
Trying
for
to
sure.
get Brad on without me being there would be hilarious.
No. You guys need to be on at the same time.
No, I'm saying without me being there in person to help him get onto the podcast.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we'll
put it to you this way: if he knew,
we'll put a star next to Brad's name.
If he knew how to only get on YouTube and find Tour Life, I bet he would watch every Tour Life. But he can't.
Wait, he doesn't know how to get on?
No, he doesn't know how to find it. He
I feel
not
bad
babysit,
now.
but he house sit my house this last week when I went to Scottsdale and Sholo to see my family. And it wasn't minutes after he got in here, he's like, I can't figure out how to get the TV on. It's like, I don't know how to get this working. Like, what the heck?
Hey, some remotes can be very, very sketchy. I'll agree.
No, like he couldn't find like YouTube TV and just click on it.
Smart TV stuff. People are saying Sean Jack from the Disc Golf Pro Tour, but what would we talk about?
I don't know. Stuff.
Doesn't Bryson DeChambeau play disc golf now?
I mean, what do you mean by that? Has he gone out and thrown? That's like saying that
let's
TJ.
get him on the pod.
That's like saying does like TJ Watt and JJ Watt play disc golf because they have a photo of them playing.
Got connections, bro.
I mean, I can. Here's the thing. We brought on Jason Belmonte, right? Yeah. And that was really cool to talk to, but we're not really talking disc golf. So I don't know. Do you guys want me to get people on that are athletes in other sports? The only thing is we won't be talking disc golf because the majority of these people don't know anything about disc golf.
Yeah.
So it'd be more about them and their sport and other thing like that.
And that's not tour life.
That's what I'm saying is I don't know. Dylan Cease
you got
Dylan Cease would be
Belmonte on
good
because you wanted to you just wanted to compare.
Yeah, I think they were comparable sports a little bit, bowling and disc golf. Where
golf is definitely a comparable sport.
All right, I'll reach out to him.
You said that like you're so bummed you had to reach out to him. You're like, all right, I'll reach out to him.
No. I'm saying like I don't know. It'd just be a different podcast. We wouldn't be talking about disc golf because they wouldn't know.
He might.
All right.
That was better. That was a little more
like
chipper.
Such a disappointed parent.
Well, we're not going to have a 30-minute conversation with him about disc golf.
No, it'd be like quick, and then we would do a comparison on golf and disc golf.
Well,
we'd have to come up with great questions as far as like maybe YouTube stuff.
That's what I think would be interesting
because he's made a transition from golf, a big one, into YouTube with Break 50 and all that stuff, and people love his content on social media. And there you go, we're seeing that in disc golf.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. The social media side, and then also like the financial side behind it too. I
think Matty-O would be good.
Matty-O was awesome last time.
Yeah,
he was great. See what he's been up to. I like it. Someone from the PDGA to talk about the rule changes they are thinking about in the future. Oh my gosh. I don't think anyone from the PDGA would come on this podcast, unfortunately.
That's not true.
You think you can get someone?
Yeah.
All right, get someone from the PGA.
All right. I can do that.
You always got connections.
Hey, Jared Goff was at my wedding slinging. That was a dark horse person at my wedding.
Subtle flex.
I didn't even know he was at our wedding.
Yeah.
He was dating one of Kelsey's teammates at the time. And so like he just was at our wedding. I had no idea.
Having a good year. That guy.
He's
slinging.
Yeah, he's very, very good. Very, very good. All right. I got a good list here. Appreciate you guys all listening. If we didn't miss
Barry Bonds? You think you get Barry Bonds? I'm just kidding.
How about OJ Simpson? R.I.P.
Michael Jordan?
Yeah. Send him a little message.
Oh, Casey White wouldn't be bad. I like Casey White. That's a good one. Coming in from Thor. Thank you, Thor. Tour Life crew member. Solid.
All
right. Well, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for listening. As always fun to jump on here, talk some disc golf. It sounds like things are starting to heat up a little bit with obviously some news dropping here and there. We're getting closer and closer to January 1st, which is, when everyone starts making those announcements, and then we start thinking about what's going to happen in the year to come. So appreciate you guys all staying with us in the off season. I know it's a little bit different than usual, but we appreciate you hanging out with us. The chat was awesome tonight. If you guys are listening and you're not joining us live,
whatever happened to those guys who were whining at us for not being on tour, and then now nobody's on tour and I don't see anybody whining? What about now? Where are you guys at now? How are these guys having a podcast when there's not even a tour going on?
I think they were more pissed at me, and rightfully so. I was listening to a podcast today that they're all Bears fans, and one of them was like, you know what? I'm not going to watch Bears games anymore. He's like, you know what? If you guys don't care enough to go out there and play, I don't care enough to, make time out of my day to watch you. And I get that. And I think that's a lot of like what was going on last year with me is like, I wasn't practicing. I was just showing up to tournaments just to be there and play, kind of, just to do my obligations. And it's like, yeah, people are going to probably be pissed by that, being like, what the heck, dude? Like, I'm not going to root for you if you're not going to freaking put in the work. So I get it. And I think that's why a lot of the heat was coming towards me, rightfully so. I don't think it was coming towards you. You're injured. So you had a good reason not to be.
I remember them saying those guys.
Well,
which is two.
Those
they were
people
coming at me, dude.
those people are trash bags because Yuli was injured.
I'm calling him out, man.
Yeah, Yuli was injured. You can't get mad at someone for being, and he wasn't fake injured either. He was real injured. He couldn't throw his right arm.
No,
So
broken.
there you have it.
Can now though.
Yeah, he's out there. Hey, watch his new YouTube video. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you guys next week.